Hi, welcome back. Mark Murphy with Douglas Quimby of Focusrite. Today we're going to delve into Leisure Retail Storefront, which is a category you defined in your travel agency landscape survey that is literally just hit the street. A couple of weeks ago. So for the Leisure Retail Storefronts, how would you define them? What do they constitute?
Well, we define the leisure retail agency as an agency whose sales volume is at least 70% leisure sales. Okay. So it's a very kind of mathematically driven formula that we use to try to segment out the leisure versus corporate, and what we also call kind of general purpose agencies.
Got it. So on those leisure focused travel agents, what are the trends over the last few years that you've seen in terms of number of locations and their might or their staying power in the marketplace? Well,
there's definitely been a drop in the number of locations, but it's not necessarily a story of decline. I think leisure agencies, they're still quite strong in the complex leisure segment, right? So they account for about 2/3 of all cruise ticket revenue, about the same amount, a little bit higher for traditional tour operators as well. So they play a really big role in those complex leisure segments. But we are also seeing a continued migration from that leisure retail kind of storefront model to the home-based model. So while we're seeing a decline in the number of locations, it's not necessarily a decline in the total number of agents and the role that they play in the market.
How many agents are out there just in general in the marketplace today? I know there's different things with Bureau of Labor Statistics, IATAN. What's the real number?
Well, we think the number, and we can only say what we think it is, right? So we in total about 100,000, a little bit more than 100,000 agencies. About a
agents.
Sorry, agents.
Yes.
Excuse me. Thanks. Agents with about a 60-40 split in terms of office-based versus home-based.
So 60,000 retail storefront agents is what we're looking at.
Well,
roughly.
Not retail storefront. That is also going to include office and call centers
Okay, got it.
Very tough to
really get a handle on that. What do you think the challenges are for a supplier today in terms of looking at this channel, the retail storefront channel? I mean, they know what the locations are primarily. What are their challenges in terms of getting business if 2/3 of the business for a cruise line or tour operator is coming from there?
Well, I think that the things that suppliers really have to be thinking about is how that agent today is looking for information and is going to make decisions about the types of products and destinations that they're going to recommend to their clients. One of the really exciting things that we saw out of the research is, there's, and look, I'm going to be quite honest, right? There's stereotypes about about travel agents that are not too flattering.
Right.
You've got travel agent sitting at her desk in her office, waiting for the phone to ring or for that lead to walk into the door. But what we've seen is a real shift in the approach that agents are taking to their business. It's much more hard-nosed, a bit more profit-driven, a bit more. We see that commission, for example, and certain financial incentives are playing an important role or an increased role in that decision-making process. Our agents are paying more weight to factors that are going to affect their bottom line as well as the experience that the clients have.
Is that more important for the retail storefront, leisure-focused agencies? Versus some other channels?
It is a bit more important for the storefront agency than it is for the home-based, and that makes sense, I think, because you're going to see very different cost structures, right, for those agencies. So.
Got it. What are some of the trends you see going forward? Do you see that storefront numbers flattening at this point in time and staying where they're at?
Well, no, I think there's quite honestly, there's still going to be some decline. We're continuing to see
the migration,
and there's also the issue of age, which I think is a concern, and it's something that suppliers, the industry needs to be thinking about, not just agencies. The average age of that leisure retail storefront agent is
50.
It's pretty high. Over half of all retail storefront leisure agents are over the age of 55, and so that's a real concern. For the industry, because those agents too, those are the ones with 10, 20 years of experience with the supplier relationships, the client relationships. So
how do we keep those going?
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
Let's take away their Social Security. Make sure you all have to work for another 20 years, right? Is that one of the options?
I'll let you deal with the future of Social Security. So.
We'll leave the political discussion for later. For now, we're going to tune out with Douglas Quimby and Mark Murphy for today, but for the next part, which is part 4, we're going to get into the home-based market and what some of the dynamics are. So stay tuned tomorrow to tune in for Focusrite and the home-based segment.